Well, a tough night for the Toronto Raptors as they fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 144-99. I'm Randy Urban, and this is Raptors Night Cap. Tonight, we're joined by the crew, Leo Rautins, Jack Armstrong, and Paul Jones. Fellas, this was obviously a tough game to watch if you're a Raptors fan. Toronto missing all their starters to COVID, and only had 4 roster players, 4 hardship signees suit up tonight as well. Jonesy, I'll start with you. What do you make of a game like this?
Listen, it's a tough task at the best of times to play the Cleveland Cavaliers healthy. And now look at all the circumstances. You've got 4 regulars, 4 emergency signees. They get together today at some point. They get a walkthrough at like 4:30. The game's at 6. It's an untenable task. And I thought they hung in and they did a really good job for a quarter. And I look, you talk about what they had to do to be in the game, and some of it played out exactly the way you thought it would. And when you have a good team on the other side, that makes it worse. You're seeking chemistry, not just the offensive chemistry, because that's like playing pickup. You can kind of figure that out. I mean, they almost scored 100 points, guys that have never seen each other before. But the defensive chemistry, that's another story. And Nick Nurse tried to junk it up, play the zone for the longest time. Look, they just did the best they could. And for anybody that wants to kind of throw shade at these guys, hey man, it's an opportunity for Waters and Wilson and these guys. So they're doing their best to take advantage of it. It's an opportunity for Watanabe, for Boucher, it's opportunity for everybody. They're doing the best they can. So I don't think anybody can be totally surprised. But at the same time, give the guys credit for going out there and doing all that they could to try and make this as competitive as possible.
Jack?
Well, 2 things that jump out at me. Number one, the Raptors came into this game, if the season had ended today, in the play-in series, and considering they haven't really been healthy the whole year, I think a pretty good accomplishment. And you look at a game like this, you say to yourself, what will be the impact down the road on maybe making the playoffs or whatever the case may be? And should this game have been played tonight? I don't have the answer to all that. I mean, there's a bigger thing working here in terms of, and the second point is just, the NBA has to look at themselves in the mirror and make these decisions and say, yeah. This is a tough situation. And I don't have the answer to it. I mean, I'm a sports fan. I remember when the NFL played with replacement players, and I admire the guys that played tonight. I just know that I got a few text messages, and they weren't nice, from Raptor fans saying, thank God I'm not at the game tonight in Cleveland having to pay to watch this. But you're happy the Cleveland Cavaliers won if you're a Cavs fan. But do you think, based upon the dollar you spent, you got the best product? So there's a lot to be debated, but quite frankly, it's for bigger minds than mine. That's for sure. I'm just a caraway seed in the bakery of life, guys.
so Leo, for bigger minds, let's go to you.
Well, from one caraway seed to another, here's the way. Okay, for all the people that say the regular season doesn't matter, NBA is feeding this. The NBA is feeding this right now, because I don't even know the criteria, frankly, for why a game should be postponed. And everything I read from all the media, they don't quite understand it.
No.
One day you need 5 roster guys. Next day you need 4 roster guys. Next day it's like, this is a moving target here. And again, what it seems to be saying is, it's regular season. Okay, all right, well, that's what people say. Don't watch a game to the fourth quarter. It's the regular season. They only play in a playoff. Well, if you don't want people saying that, you got to be careful of what you're doing here. But like Jack said, I'm just a caraway seed. I'm just watching this, and no one's going to listen to me about it. And I'm seeing what I know people are saying. And when people say it's an opportunity, yeah, it's an opportunity for guys, but it's also an opportunity to look real bad when you throw a bunch of guys together and say play, right? Yeah, I thought DJ Wilson looked good. I thought he did a nice job, but it's not a good environment to look good. Right? You're challenging guys to look good. You're putting guys in situations they shouldn't be in. I'd rather see a DJ Wilson come in with a bunch of guys that know how to play, have a few practices, and now show me what you can do, right? So there's a lot of you can talk about a lot of different things. So the score, I don't care about the score. You played a game. They did what they had to do to play the game. That's really what it comes down to. I thought Utah did what he should do. He came out there. It's a great opportunity, get some shots, play, stay in the game, put some numbers up. Some other guys struggled, and I think it opens your eyes a little bit there too. Chris Boucher, is at his best when I think he can come in with other guys. When he's got to do more, you can see his struggles, man. Here's a guy. Well, he shouldn't be having 5 turnovers. He should be going 2 attempts, 3. So you look at those kind of things that I think it opens up some. I don't know, surprises. I think we already know some of these things, but it's kind of a convoluted, goofy picture right now.
Yeah, to both Leo and Jack's point, Randy. I got texts from Raptor fans too. People saying, if this was the Lakers.
Damn, I don't even have your number, Jonesy. God.
If this was the Lakers or the Clippers, would the NBA have played this?
People are saying that about the Nets. People are saying about some of the games the Nets have canceled. That's what I'm saying. So you're saying this for the teams that are in the mix, this matters. For the teams that may not be in the mix, it doesn't matter. If that's not true, you're making it look that way.
Well, yeah, be consistent. I agree, Leo, and that's the biggest part of it to me.
I just like to make one point. I made this point the other day. I'm not a fan of the play-in tournament. 16 out of 30 is plenty. When you add another 4, I personally am not a fan of it. Now, the Raptors theoretically right now, as I mentioned earlier, could be one of those teams, which would be a cool experience. It'd be fun for all of us for a few days. But nonetheless, I would rather they not play tonight and take those extra few days and make up all the postponements. And if we need to postpone a few more games for the good of the game, rather than the good of the business.
Yeah, that's the point, Jack, the good of the game.
Yeah.
The game, is it the game? Are we doing this for the good of the game or the good of the business? And the other element I'd like to just say is that you guys know this because we've all lived through this.
Yes.
It shouldn't take 2 weeks to play a first round playoff series. That used to be best of 5. Now it's best of 7. I'm okay with it being best of 7, but it shouldn't take 13 to 14 days. We should be able to get that done in 11 to 12 days max. So if you don't have the play-in series, and then if you shrink the amount of days in between games in the first round of playoffs, that gives you probably another 6 to 7 days to make up some of these regular season games if you're concerned with the not only the good of the game, but more importantly, the business of the game, if that's how you're looking at it. And the fact that we're not doing this, and we're still going to have the play-in series, and we're going to still have it 2 weeks for the first round of playoffs, to me, it's all about the business, which is disappointing.
Well, because it is a competitive environment, Jack. And look, Randall, you're new to this, but Jack, Leo and I have seen we've seen a 16 and 66, didn't we, Leo? Jack saw 22 and 60. And for Raptor fans that are, and for Raptor fans that are kind of new to this, and I say new in the last 10 years, they don't know this. I mean, it's not fair that this is happening, but this is sometimes the ebb and flow of the way a season goes. And what's making this construct even more difficult, as both of my esteemed colleagues have said, is there's a business aspect to it too. And that kind of walks the line with the whole respect aspect. Would it be the same if the Lakers had 10 players in protocols? And I'm not questioning. I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying they should or they shouldn't, but I'm saying though, can we establish some consistency?
Hey, Randy, go ahead, Jonesy, finish.
No, I was going to say, Leo and I walked out of the LA Sports Arena one night in '98 when the Clippers hung up $152 on the Raptors. And the biggest thing was Brendan Malone making sure that we all got to the bus okay because of the area that we were in. He didn't want anybody catching a stray bullet. Like,
Hey, there's
know.
another area. Remember Oakland? Same thing, stray bullets.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so far tonight, I realized a couple things. I'm a carry-away seed. I'm an esteemed colleague, right? This is pretty good. And Jack,
I said you had a big brain.
Jack and Jonesy get texts from fans, and I don't even have their cell numbers. That's unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
Leo, you texted me earlier, so that's my claim to fame.
Yeah, but you're nobody. These guys are somebody.
hey, he's got more than a 10-day. Come on now. He's got a year contract.
Yeah,
I got a 10-day.
Sorry, I take that back. That wasn't right. That was.
I got
Randall,
10
you're not on a
isolation.
10-day, are you?
No,
Not that I know of.
No,
Okay.
no. I'm looking for one. I'm in 10 days of isolation after the first 10 days of isolation. This is my 20th day in isolation.
Cheers to isolation, Randy.
Yeah, no COVID the first time, COVID last week, unfortunately. So I'll urge anybody at home to get tested if you can in Canada, which is tough to do, and to take that booster shot for sure. Leo, real quick though, I saw Watanabe score on 7'6" Taco Fall. Who's the tallest player that you scored on?
Okay, this is a funny story. I'm playing in France, and everybody's talking about this guy, Georgi Murasan, right?
Wow.
Nobody ever heard of this dude, right? And they're saying anyway. So we go to. He's playing for my old team in France in Orthez. So we go play this game, and this dude's in the game, and literally the biggest guy, like Vladimir Tachenko from the Soviet Union, was the biggest guy I've ever played against before that. But this dude is monster, right? So I'm under the basket. I turn around and did something, and I put it up, and he gets a piece of it, and I go, I'm like, nobody gets a piece of that. It's like, and he didn't even jump. He just kind of turned accidentally, and his arm was up, and he wasn't trying to block my shot. He just turning, he blocked my shot. Yeah. I go, you don't do that, right? How does that happen? But that was Georgi Murasan. I think he was 7'5", something like that.
7'7".
7'7". Yeah.
7'7". Yeah. So that was my first introduction. Nobody ever heard of this dude, and I was playing against him in France.
That's awesome. Anybody else got a good story before we wrap it up? We might as well finish
a
couple of positives
story I have
here.
about a big guy, Randall, is, and you youngsters can YouTube this. Michael Jordan dunked on John Stockton in Utah once, and the owner, Larry Miller, used to sit courtside. And he said, "Oh, you think you're so good, Jordan?" He's trash talking him, going back. He goes, "You know what? You dunked on Stockton. That ain't nothing. You know, why don't you dunk on a guy your own size?" The next play down, Michael Jordan went up and over Mark Eaton,
right,
and ran back to Larry Miller courtside and went, like, "You got anybody bigger?"
Yeah,
there you go.
Jack, you got the last word.
I'm just a caraway seed in the bakery of life.
Nice.
All right, we'll stop.
Jack,
we'll stop it there.
I'm just a grape in a bottle of wine.
Jack, when you come next time I see you, can you bring me a caraway seed bun, please?
I like the caraway seed. The bagel's good. The caraway bagel is pretty good.
Okay, I'll settle for either one.
Sesame seed, caraway seed, they're good bagels.
Cream cheese, no louts.
That's all right. I like the butter or the cream cheese. I'm good with that.
Before we get carried away,
before we're too late now, buddy. We are carried away.
Caraway. Raptors' next game is Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern against the Philadelphia 76ers. We will be virtual again that night, so we will see you shortly.